Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big, most anticipated video games for 2024 video. Today we're going to talk about the most anticipated video games of 2024. This is basically a similar video that I did last year for 2023, and it's going to be the kind of just same video as last year, but this year I'm going to split this video into 4 parts. There will also be timestamps in the video description as well for every part and every game, so don't worry about that. This video is going to work like this. Part 1 will be all the games that have a final release date, a full release date. The second part will be handpicked indie games by me. It's going to be the shortest part. It's just a few indie games, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. Part 3 will be all the games that are confirmed for 2024 but don't have a release date. And then the last 4th part will be about games that I think will be in 2024 or confirmed for 2025, like GTA 6 as an example. A little spoiler for later down the video. So sit back, relax, enjoy, take a beverage, and let's get on with some release dates. Now, the first game we're going to talk about is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Finally, a new Prince of Persia game from Ubisoft, and you are playing as a new hero called Sargon. It's a 2.5D side-scroller action-adventure game. I'm not really the biggest fan of Prince of Persia myself, but I do think a lot of fans of the Prince of Persia fan base will absolutely anticipate this game. It's releasing on January the 18th. Then Ichiban returns to us in Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That is going to release on the 26th of January. We finally get the second turn-based Yakuza game. I am a very big Yakuza fan, if you guys didn't know. And I love always all these JRPG mechanics in the Yakuza games, especially this turn-based series so far. So I cannot wait for this one. One of the very first fighting games of 2024 will be Tekken 8, which will in fact actually release with a total of 32 playable characters. That is without any DLC attached to it. And this one will release in fact on January 26th. Granblue Fantasy Relink is a JRPG I have been waiting for some time now. I'm not joking, actual years. And this game should have just released last year or 2022. That was what everyone was expecting, at least. I even had this on my last year's video as well, but finally we have a release date for February 1st, and we finally see the release of this game because it's highly timed. Persona 3 Reload is the first remake to arrive in 2024, and it's one also of my most anticipated games of 2024. Persona 3 Reload is a big remake of course, Persona 3, with new quality of life enhancements that Persona 5 introduced. So do not skip this one. Coming out 2nd of February. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not really a game I think a lot of people are looking forward to, because there have been some controversies with it. The fact that it is a live service game instead of a single player game that a lot of people wanted. Still, it's coming out on the same day as Persona 3 Reload on the 2nd of February. Helldivers 2 is a action-packed co-op space exploration game where you explore different planets with your friends and fight against aliens. And the first one was top down. This one is fully in third person, and it is in fact coming out on the 8th of February. Banishers Ghost of New Eden is a third-person action RPG by the guys at Focus Home Interactive. I was actually not very much sold on the gameplay yet, especially the combat. I thought it looked a little bit clunky in the recent gameplay that they showed, and this was actually to be released this year in 2023, but it has been moved to 2024. And now it's coming out on the 13th of February. Let's be honest, no one is going to play Skull and Bones. It's coming out on the whenever it is coming out, 16th of February. So there you have it. Let's just skip this one because I don't think anyone is interested. Now let's talk about a game that is in fact actually interesting. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It's getting a remake. This was a surprise announcement at the Game Awards. I don't really get why this is getting a remake because this game wasn't really that old yet. But still, it looks pretty cool to me. I haven't played the original one, so maybe I will pick this up on the 28th of February. And the last game for February, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the second part in the big Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, I'm a big Final Fantasy VII fan, I'm a big Final Fantasy VII Remake fan. So yeah, I want all the Tifa in the world. It's coming out on the 29th of February. Unicorn Overlord is the next tactical RPG from Vanilla, where the guys that brought you Odin's Sphere and 13 Sentinels. This looks very interesting to me, especially the art style. Looking forward to this one. It's coming out on the 8th of March. Dragon's Dogma 2 looks to be a big evolution of the first game, with more in-depth gameplay, but also storytelling and lore so far that I've seen in the trailers. I will admit I was not the biggest fan of the first game. I found it a little bit clunky and the art style was pretty uninspired. I'm really hoping that this second game can draw me in because it does look more improved over the first one. It's coming out on the 22nd of March. And then on the same day we have Rise of the Ronin coming out on March 22nd as well. This is a new game from the guys that do Neo, and it looks a lot like Ghost of Tsushima, but basically their take on it, shall I say. And I'm a very big Ghost of Tsushima fan, so that's why I'm really anticipating this game. It's going to be hard to play both these games on the same day, but I'm going to try anyways. Then the first game of April will be Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, which will release on the 23rd of April. And this is basically a spiritual successor towards the Suikoden games, where you can play as 100 different main characters that you can play as. I've never played the Suikoden games, but they look very interesting to me. There are also remasters coming of it, if I'm not wrong. And this one is from the original creator involved with Suikoden, so I am pretty excited for this game. Black Myth Wukong is the very first game from the small Chinese studio Game Science, and they are making a game that is inspired by Journey to the West, a Chinese famous novel, and it's basically a third-person Souls-like game, and the art is amazing in this game. I am not the biggest fan of Souls-likes, but I am willing to make an exception for this game just to try it out, because it looks very cool, and I've always been very interested in Chinese mythology, so pretty nice stuff. It's coming out on the 20th of August. Space Marine 2 is a sequel towards the very first Space Marine Warhammer 40k shooter, and damn, I don't know anything about this franchise whatsoever. I don't know anything about Warhammer. Maybe you guys can help me with that in the comment section down below. But in my opinion, this game looks very good. So maybe this will be the very first Warhammer game that I play. It's coming out on the 9th of September, which is the very final release date that we have for next year. Now, we finished every game that has a release date. Let's get into some spicy indie games handpicked by myself. So the very first indie game that I handpicked for you guys is 9 Souls, which is releasing around Q2 of 2024, and it's basically a 2D Metroidvania-esque game that is inspired by Japanese culture, but it also has some science fiction elements, and it just looks amazing with its art style and graphics. I've already played it, and you can maybe still find the demo for it on Steam if you want to try it out for yourselves. It also has great music in the game as well. Check this out because I really liked it. No Rest for the Wicked was a surprise announcement at the Game Awards this year, and maybe you recognize this art style because it's from the guys that do the Ori games, and the Ori games, as you guys know, are very beautiful with its graphics and art style in particular, and this game is no different. But this one is a RPG, so that is more up in my alley, shall I say, and I cannot wait for this game. It looks amazing. I'm actually quite surprised that I didn't put Replaced on my last year's video. I think I just forgot about it, but it's also a very cool indie game that's coming out supposedly normally in 2024, and it's basically a cinematic cyberpunk platformer-esque game, I suppose, and I believe it's a Xbox console exclusive. I could be wrong about that. It's probably also coming to PC. And yeah, the visuals again of this one look amazing, as well as the soundtrack synthwave vibe going on. I'm looking forward to see this in action. So the next game is called the Plucky Squire. It's basically a very colorful action-adventure-ish game where you basically live in this very colorful kingdom. It's a very weird game because it has multiple gameplay mechanics where you can also go out of the, shall I say, colorful color book world into the real world, and then it transforms into platforming, and then it has some combat. So it's a very weird game, but I just really love what I see here. Check it out. It's supposed to come out in 2024 so far I know. Bow Path of the Teal Lotus is also a 2D Japanese Asian inspired game, and the graphics and art style of this one yet again are amazing. I haven't played this one yet. I don't know if there was a demo available like 9 Souls, but this one especially makes me think of Okami, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and I cannot wait for this to release as well in 2024. Now let's talk about part 3, which has all the games confirmed for 2024 without having an actual release date yet. The first game without a release date that I want to talk about is S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. And as we all know, we have the war going on right now in Ukraine. So no one really blames the developers if this game is coming out later. But they actually did confirm a Q1 window, which means in early 2024, from January up until March, April somewhere. So that's actually pretty surprising. I don't know when we will get the final release date, but don't be surprised if this one gets still delayed. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is basically a AA version of God of War, you could say, with a action-adventure combat system. It's not really Souls-like in any way, it's actually much more traditional action combat in third person in kind of a fantasy setting. It looks pretty interesting to me, and you have this cute little animal companion with you. It's confirmed for now for a summer 2024 release, but of course this can also be delayed, so be aware of that. Metaphor ReFantazio is one of my most anticipated games of 2024 that still doesn't have a release date. It did receive a fall release window, though. It's from the guys that do Persona, and you can absolutely see that in its turn-based combat system. Its art style also looks amazing, and of course the great menu designs that you can find in the game. It's a basically fantasy version-ish of a Persona game, and I simply cannot wait. In the latest update for Hellblade 2, we finally got to see combat at the Game Awards, because that was highly overdue, and I was actually kind of tired of Hellblade 2 for like the 5th time at the Game Awards, but we finally also have kind of a release window. It's just next year, 2024. It can basically release anywhere in 2024, but I have a feeling that it's going to be somewhere earlier in 2024, maybe in the summer period, but we shall see. Now, we actually don't know if Avowed is in fact a 2024 game, but there is actually a new rumor though on the internet that the game might in fact be a second half of 2024 release instead of a first half. Keep in mind, it's just a rumor, but Xbox doesn't really have anything yet planned for that second half of 2024, so to have Avowed there does make sense in my opinion. Visions of Mana is a newly highly anticipated JRPG just announced from Square Enix at the Game Awards. And to be fair, I never played any of the Mana games whatsoever, but this one actually really looks good in my opinion, just like a Tales of Arise or something like Dragon Quest. I will keep my eye on this one for 2024. Lost Soul Aside is one of the China hero projects from PlayStation, and this game started actually out as a one-man game years ago, and it grew much more in skill and scope than it actually originally was. And this game is confirmed for a 2024 release. It's basically a action-packed game like Devil May Cry or Nier Automata-esque, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Crimson Desert is also a game that has been in development for some time now by the guys that do Black Desert. It's being done by a Korean-based studio. They are normally known for multiplayer games and MMOs, especially Black Desert is a MMO, but this looks to be more single player, so that's more up my alley. And it is so far confirmed for a 2024 release, so let's hope that it won't see any delays. Decapolice might be one of the most intriguing new games from Level 5. They recently delayed the game into 2024. It was supposed to come out in 2023. You basically play as this detective kind of guy in this big city, and you can do turn-based combat with deduction skills as well. So this looks pretty interesting to me. I will keep an eye on this as well. We've been really wondering and speculating when Dragon Age Dreadwolf might come out, but I do think 2024 is going to be the year that Dragon Age Dreadwolf will in fact come out. And they recently just announced also on the Dragon Age Day that they will in fact show more of the release date in fact of the game, so that makes me confident that we will see in fact a release date for maybe fall of 2024. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is getting finally a remake from Nintendo. We just received this not too long ago on one of their Nintendo Directs, and there are a lot of fans of this franchise. I never played the original myself, but it is confirmed for a 2024 date, so I might pick it up. Ubisoft is making their own open world Star Wars game named Star Wars Outlaws, and every Star Wars fan is dreaming of a big open world Star Wars game, and we're finally getting it. It's being made by massive entertainment. If the gameplay is true from what they are showing here, then this looks very hyped. The graphics are really good looking and you can fly seamlessly out of the planet's orbit. Now, we've all seen the Starfield stuff, so remember that they might be hiding tricks or something like that in the trailer to not have it seamless, but we shall see how this pans out. I'm very interested in this game. Last but not least, I have Assassin's Creed Red on this part of the list, because I am actually pretty sure that we will see this game release next year, because Ubisoft is never really the biggest one of delays, or it needs to be Skull and Bones or Beyond Good and Evil. But most of the time, especially when it comes to Assassin's Creed games, they tend to hit their release window. And of course, Mirage was a smaller game. The biggest team that Ubisoft has is working on Assassin's Creed Red. It's a Ghost of Tsushima-like Assassin's Creed game, and I love Japanese settings. Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time, so I cannot wait. I hope that Assassin's Creed Red is good. And now the last part with all the games that are maybe coming in 2024 or are confirmed already for 2025. Death Stranding 2 is still for now a maybe, but there have been some rumors floating around that are credible that this game is in fact still releasing in 2024. So the chance that it will release in 2024 is pretty high. Silent Hill 2 is also a game that I'm pretty confident about that it will still in fact release in 2024. There have been previous rumors that it was going to be around March or April. Maybe that has been pushed back a little bit. Otherwise, we would have probably already seen the release date by now for Silent Hill 2 Remake, but I do think this game still has a 2024 date. Now, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake or Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta is a game I'm not so sure about if it will release in 2024. I could easily see them skipping 2024, especially if they do have Silent Hill 2 Remake ready. Konami, that is, I'm speaking of. So maybe Metal Gear Solid 3 will skip 2024, but I do think there's also still a possibility it can release alongside Silent Hill 2 Remake. Technically, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is actually confirmed for a fall 2024, but I just do not trust the development of this game at all. It has already been rebooted in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if they would reboot it again. So I just do not really trust this confirmation whatsoever, and you shouldn't either. That's why I am putting it in the maybe category. Pragmata is another game that has had a very long development so far, with also 2 delays. It was first planned for a 2022 release, all the way delayed to 2023 and now 2024. So I'm not really holding my breath if this is going to release in 2024, but still, we haven't seen much either, so I would like to see some gameplay now and a release date finally for this game, if it is in fact coming out in 2024. Stellar Blade is also another game that has been missing for some time now from the spotlight, but we recently actually got some small news that the developers of Stellar Blade have actually signed a deal with PlayStation to help each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see this game on just the next State of Play with a release date. Still, it might be a maybe, because this is a game I can see getting delayed to 2025, but we shall see. Also, Judas still exists. That was announced last year at the Game Awards. It's the new game from the BioShock creator Ken Levine. I'm not very sure if this one will ever come out, to be fair, but it has been in development for a very long time, and I do suspect we will at least get an update in 2024, maybe not the release. I'm still skeptical on that, but you never know. Greedfall 2 is also a game that has been missing from the news cycle this year. And I do suspect that we will see an update in 2024 at least. The release is a maybe, but at least a update with maybe then a 2025 release or maybe even a fall release. I don't think that this game is that far away. If you are a fan of the 2D HD art style from Octopath Traveler, you must take a look at the Dragon Quest III remake that is in that art style. And we know there hasn't been any news on this remake for a long time, but the series creator from Dragon Quest actually did say that the development is going pretty smoothly. So I think it's just a question of waiting, and maybe it's tied to a new Nintendo Switch launch. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. So maybe that will happen in 2024. Clockwork the Revolution is the newest first-person steampunk RPG from In Exile that you must take a look at. I am a pretty big fan of In Exile as a studio, and to see them have a bigger budget for a bigger game is very exciting, just like Obsidian. But I'm not very sure if this game will come out in 2024. It did look pretty polished to me in the very first trailer, so maybe it could be a fall game, but this could also be one for 2025. GTA 6 is the very first confirmed 2025 game. I don't think it will go further than 2025, but of course we don't know if it's going to be in early 2025 or later. It depends if they are going to delay any more. But I'm actually pretty sure that 1 full year will be enough to do some more polishing, because I do think they have already a lot of stuff done for this game. One more game that I want to add that is very big, and it's the only one of its kind in this video, is Skyblivion, which is basically the most ambitious mod ever made. It's a full-on remake of Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and this is also already confirmed for 2025. So next to GTA 6, I am a very big Elder Scrolls fan, so I just simply cannot wait for this one. And we do know from some rumors that there is in fact maybe an official Oblivion remake in development, and I'm very curious to see which one will release first. I do think that this fan remake will be first, but we shall see. So that was all. These are all the biggest games coming for 2024. What is your most anticipated game for 2024? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching this long video. I put a lot of effort into it, into the editing as well. So I would be very grateful if you guys would maybe give it a like or just interact with me. That would already be amazing. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you are interested in gaming news, leaks and rumors, that type of stuff, go subscribe to the Get Wrecked channel. I upload there a lot. If you are interested in game reviews and discussions, go subscribe to Ace Eyes. And again, thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.